Good afternoon. Ouch, ouchie, 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 ouchie. Come on, OX9. Come on, baby. Come on. We got this. You got this. Come on. It's only 6 inches tall out there. You got this. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Anyways, I'm trying to chow down some lentils. I got 1 out of 2 fields to do. 1 field ready. The second field I just sprayed as of yesterday. This one's been sprayed for 2 or 3 weeks. And I know you have some questions regarding that, like, did you not seed them at the same time? Why is there such a major gap between spraying them? And that is a very good question. Remember when I said that 2 weeks ago there was like 2 inches of rain coming and this field was the closest to being ready and we were just going to come out here with some Raglone and throw a freaking Hail Mary and see if we couldn't get some of these lentils off with good quality before all that rain came? Well, we did spray it with Raglone. Raglone is basically just an acid. If you're wondering what that is, it just burns off the top of the plants. And then it's just an acid. It doesn't actually kill the plant, okay? It just burns it right down. That's what it's meant to do. So anyways, we did that, and we came back up here just before the rain, and they were way, 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 way too tough. So they got rained on, hence they're black looking and they're incredibly dusty. But they didn't fully die because Raglone doesn't kill anything. So you go into these low spots. See all this green straw out there? Green straw, not cutting very good, green straw, yeah. Well, it's not dead down there. And it's really, really poor yielding because it was too green when we sprayed it. Remember we threw the Hail Mary, it was too green when we sprayed it. So those low spots are probably producing like 10 bushel, which is bad. And these hilltops are producing like 30 to 40 bushel, okay? Because the hilltops were ready to spray and they were well potted because they took the stress over summer. I've already talked about in the past that lentils need stress. Low spots are pretty much a write-off. That's what I like to see right there. That's what I like to see. I'm hoping that these are going to average around 30 at the end of the day. Currently our average is 29. But it's all going to depend on how many low spots versus hills. Hills is where the yield is. There's probably 40 to 50 bushel yield up on top of these hills, which doesn't even make sense. There's hardly anything there, right? Nothing. You can't really tell where I cut. It's thin, it's flat, it's laying down. The rain's pushing it down. The straw is rotting, which is another reason why you need to get out here before the next rain, which is coming with about 20 more mils or 20 to 30 more mils. So hilltops got your yield, low spots got nothing. That is normal for lentils. That's not just a North Country thing. That is also a South Country thing. That is normal. They're the opposite of wheat and canola. Wheat and canola, traditionally, your yield is in the low spot. Why? Because it has the excess moisture to produce more yield. Well, excess moisture to lentils is problematic. Why? It's a really good question, actually. It's because they're a non-determinate plant. Non-determinate plant means as long as there's adequate moisture for those puppies, they will never naturally decide to come in on their own. They're never going to bed. They're never going to bed naturally. You have to put these things to bed or they're never coming in, basically is what I'm trying to tell you. They're never coming in. It'll be Christmas time, November rolls around, freezes the ground solid, December, then you're going to go out and there's going to be nothing there, and you're going to have 2 feet of snow on it, and you're going to... Anyway, yeah, you get the idea. You get the idea. You have to put these things to bed, but you got to put it to bed with the right timing. So right timing was on the hilltops, hence the yield. Right timing was way too green in the low spots, and it's just an acid, burns them down. And then, of course, there was hardly any pods there to begin with either, so perfect storm. That's why. Now, we did just spray the other field, which is pretty much was more general to being fully sprayed. We used Roundup because we will never use Raglone again up here. Never. Never. The reason why is, do I gotta go back? I'm confused. Do I have one more pass back there? Yes, I do. The reason why is because Raglone does not kill, it just burns down, and then you go into these low spots. We even left some sloughs. There's a slough, there's another slough over there. Let me zoom into it here. That's a green slough. We left that during spring. That's what these lentils would still look like. Those lentils in the slough are actually still not ready to be sprayed. And then when you look at the pods, there's still hardly any pods on them. So, and I've talked about this in the past, and I've said this before, when you're dealing with lentils in a country like up north, where you probably shouldn't be growing lentils, we're just kind of, you know, risking it for the biscuits here. You pretty much just write all your low spots off. You ain't ever getting those things anyway, all right? That's just a percentage. You write that off, and you hopefully that all your hilltops will outproduce and still have a better overall average. Now, I said I'm still hoping for a 30 bushel average up here, which is pretty incredible, really, if you think about it. It wouldn't be my best. I have grown, keep in mind, I have grown red lentils 2 prior years before this one, and I was in that 30 to 40 bushel range, give or take. Somewhere in there anyway, maybe closer to 40 actually. So this is still a low spot. Look at that green straw under there. You can't see crap because of the dust. I apologize. Well, anyway, it's green straw. You can see in the last pass, can barely cut it very good. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit more. Not even hardly doing a good job cutting. And look, the yield's only down into the 20s. Some places it's down into the 15s, into the teens, because, well, didn't stress enough for the summer for 1, and then I sprayed it too green for 2. Your yield is on the hilltops. So like I said, the other field, without repeating myself, the other field is going to be our check. That one was sprayed with Roundup, thank goodness, because that way the whole plant will die. And so I can come out here. Hold on, I just got to move our rock here. I can come out here and then actually cut all the low spots and the hills equally as easy. Where the Raglone, I can't. Never using Raglone again up here. But anyways, live and learn. We're always learning. If we're not learning, we're dead. True story. I'd like to show you the sample. Doesn't look too bad. But we will maybe when we get to the headland here. So this is a really rolly field. This 50-foot HD flex is working awesome. This is still the same header as I have back home. And for any of you guys that just joined, though, this is not the X9 that I run back home. I have one X9 in both locations. So Mike, what would happen if you just left it, you know, wait till it's dry, and you know, and after all, it is only August 30th. And that's a really good question. I don't know if I've discussed this. I'm taking this stuff off at, well, that 11% moisture is not accurate. I don't even know if the yield's that accurate, actually. But we'll know when we get there. If I take off 4,000, there's 100 acres that I'm cutting out here. If I take 4,000 bushel off, you know, 140. Pretty sure my math's right. After all, it's still morning. But anyways, dry for red lentils is 13%. Dry for wheat and durum is 14.5. Dry for canola is like 9.5, 10 or something like that. Dry for mustard is 9% moisture. The mustard we barely got dry. It's like 9.5 to 10, but we're just gonna put the fans on that right now and deal with that later. If only I had a dryer, eh? Oh man. Anyway, the dryer is getting very close to being operational. Electrician got that puppy all wired in as of like 2 days ago. There's a couple of things I got to do. Got to get the augers under them, and I've got to shimmy the dryer around, anchor it down. Apparently, it's got to be anchored down. Then you got to get the gas guy out, and the guy who sold it to you. You got to do the first run test to make sure there's no gas leaks or something like that, so it doesn't blow up in your face or something. Something like that. So we'll hopefully maybe get that done. But talking about moisture, I'm taking this stuff at around, well, the first load I did was 14.5. Remember, 13% is dry for lentils. Everybody has a little different. The last time I cut lentils, I did cut them at 14, stored them all year, did not have a problem with them. But if you go to sell them, unless they're 13, they're gonna dock you, all right? They're gonna dock you a drying charge, basically. Shrinkage, what they call it. They're too heavy. Basically, they're too heavy because they got moisture in them, and they don't want to pay for that. And then they also don't want to have storage problems when they dump it into a big bin. So I don't know if I asked your question or answered that question or not. I kind of got off on a bit of a rabbit trail when we started talking about all these different moistures. Man, is this dusty. Holy cow, I can't. The reason why we're taking them tough is because there's more rain coming, and I would rather just get them off, deal with them later, and have some sort of a sample of a quality of a red lentil, or when that rain gets to us, if we get another bunch of rain on here, This already black looking straw is just going to keep rotting down. It's going to turn our red lentils into feed. They're not feed yet. And then I might as well just wave the white flag at that point. So we're going to get what we can get. Well, Mike, what about the other field, the field that you just sprayed? Well, that is not going to take the rain very good either. Let's be honest, it's not quite as black because it hasn't been sprayed, but it is what it is. That's farming. You just gotta roll with the punches and adapt. That's all we're trying to do. Oh, I guess we're pretty full here. If you look up in my bubble, you can see just a little bit of the top there, right in the top mirror. This thing did flash 3/4 at me here not too long ago, I guess. Let's not shear a coupler off. Speaking of couplers, totally sheared so these twin rotor X9s, they have what they call a shear coupler. Basically it's a shear pin, but it's a coupler, okay? It's got it's like a PTO spline. And they're $400 a piece. And no, unlike shear pins, like augers and combines typically come with shear pins. You know, if there's a shear pin, you normally get a few spare shear pins. You do not get any spare couplers when you buy an X9. I know it's $400 each, and you have 2 of them. So it's $800 in shear couplers. Anyways, I sheared one, and I don't know how. I was cutting a 10 bushel mustard crop back home. But I think the reason why is because I was talking to Ron. You guys remember Ron, he's an awesome guy. I was running my rotors at 290 RPM, which is as slow as those puppies will go, because I was cracking the mustard. And yes, my feed accelerator was in slow mode, my feeder house was in slow mode, and my rethrasher was on the corn, creates more space versus the wheat, and I'm still cracking that mustard back home. So anyway, I was like, well, one must open up concave and slow down rotor, which is what I did. Oh, we are full, fair enough. Anyways, I went into a bit of a low spot, which maybe it was 15 bushel mustard. And all of a sudden I could hear it go rumble, 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 beep, left. A sensor came up saying stop, 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 left rotor ceases to move. So anyway, that was Saturday, and today is Tuesday, and it's still not operational yet. So I had absolutely no idea where that coupler was. Absolutely no idea. I even looked in the manual. Can you believe that? I actually looked in the manual. My service manager at my local dealer, he's always like, there's $100 stuck in those manuals for anybody who knows where they are. And I'm like, oh, that tells you how many people actually look at those manuals. But anyways, I looked at the manual. I couldn't find it. Maybe I just missed it, but I couldn't find it. So I needed to get up here because we had to cut the brown mustard and we had to cut these red lentils right now, right? Today's Tuesday. We've been up here since Sunday. So I literally was like, okay, this is my cue. I am out of here. We dug out, Lee helped me. We dug the feed accelerator out. We dug everything all out. We put everything back together, and then we just needed that coupler changed. So I called the John Deere tech down to change the coupler, and apparently it was the left-hand side, which apparently is like the hardest side to do. So I do feel bad that I left him with a coupler, but I think he was pulling off a drive line shaft or something. Anyway, things didn't go too well. Built a bolt here or there, whatever it is. It's not the biggest end of the world because I'm not there to run it right now. But obviously, if I was back home, I'd be far more excited. So they're just getting the tractor and grain cart all warmed up here, ready to rock and roll. They got here a little bit late because they had to do a bunch of, this is Lee and Will, much messing around the yard, moving augers, all that fun stuff. And we were cutting on lentils. So that's the dealio, you guys. Don't shear a rotor coupler. Don't shear a rotor coupler on an X9. You will hate your life. Almost as bad as shearing the shear bolts on the Ideals. I do not know why we have shear bolts or couplers. Just put a stinking belt on that thing like there is on any other single rotor out there. And when you burn the belt, you know you're plugged. Because it's a pain in the butt to change those things. right. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. You guys have yourself a good one, and I'll catch you on the flipper. Adios, amigos. And we gotta show you the sample. Apologize, it's windy out here, so brace yourself. See if I can get up here without... This one does not have the Demco extension. We have it, but we haven't put it on yet. All in all, that sample actually still looks, I bet you, a grade of 2. There's no such thing as a number 1 in lentils, it's just a 2. Okay, and if you go to an extra 2, I think there's an extra 2. Then there's a 3, and then an extra 3. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Couple cracks. The cracks is because I'm running my rotor way faster up here. 2 reasons. I don't want to freaking shear that coupler. 2, in the green spots, I need help getting this stuff thrashed. Because lentils, when they're green, they do not want to thrash very well, and you'll just right out the back end of that combine. Don't matter if you have single rotor or twin rotor. They will go out. Here's some green ones. You don't want that. But all in all, that's actually a pretty good sample. Some of these light green ones like this, they'll turn naturally. If they're dark green, then probably they'll stay green, in which case you're only allowed a certain amount of green, so you don't want, you know, it is what it is. But like I said, it's not optimum out here. This is not optimal. These are probably still testing 14.5. But it's actually not bad. It's not bad at all. I'll take it. Because obviously they'll just turn white. So if you look at these real white ones, they've taken the most rain. See if I can zoom in on this. Whoa! Sorry about that. The whitest ones have taken the most rain because they're supposed to be red. Right? Like this guy. Him. He's taking a lot of rain. His buddy over here, he's taking some rain. You don't want that. And then pretty soon they'll just go black. Anyways, you guys get the idea. I'll catch you on the flipper. And speaking of black, this stuff is dirtily dusty. Dirtily dusty. I think I just made some words up. All right, guys. Adios.